Question, the member from Halliburton, Kawartha Lakes Brock.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Attorney General. 2 weeks ago in question period, I called on this government to require mandatory sexual assault training for judicial appointees. At that time, the Attorney General rejected the idea completely, claiming that to do so would undermine judicial independence. So it was curious that yesterday we saw a government member announcing her intention to introduce a private member's bill that does what the Premier and Attorney General, as recently as last week, said they would not support. During her announcement, the member for Davenport claimed that she had the support of her caucus in introducing this bill. All of this makes me wonder if the Attorney General even knows what his caucus colleagues think about this issue. So my question to the Attorney General is, has he come around to support mandatory sexual assault law training for Ontario judicial appointees, or is he just playing political games to avoid taking responsibility?
Question. Thank you. Attorney General.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and I thank the member for asking the question. I appreciate the press conference that the member from Davenport did yesterday. Speaker, I think all members of this House, I hope, recognize that when we're dealing with issues around sexual assault, sexual violence, harassment, it's not something that is partisan in nature, Speaker. That is not something that we should be debating in terms of political terms, Speaker. What we should be doing is exactly what our Premier has done, is show leadership in making sure that we've got effective strategies and plans in place to combat sexual violence and harassment. And Speaker, I'm really proud of the Premier by bringing forward It's Never Okay strategy that will ensure that we, in a very meaningful way, put an end to sexual violence and harassment in our province. And there is an opportunity for us to be a leader for the rest of the country.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Well, Mr. Speaker, back to the Attorney General. You are making it partisan. The mixed signals coming from this government on what is a clear issue is doing what is right to protect sexual assault survivors. What you're doing is appalling. I've received many expressions of public support for mandatory sexual assault training for provincial judges, which confirms it is a pressing issue for Ontarians. Hiding behind judicial independence shows a lack of will to act on the part of the government. If the Wynne government was truly serious about this issue, they would introduce this as a government legislation, not a private member's bill. In any case, it always seems like the only way to get this government to act, whether it's on sexual assault training for judges or human sex trafficking, is to shame them into it. So my question to the Attorney General is, when will he stop the political games and tackle the issue of sexual assault training head-on, like a responsible...
Be seated, please. Thank you. Order, please. Attorney General.
Speaker, I want to tell the member opposite and all members of this House that I, as a member of provincial parliament, I, as the Attorney General of this province, I, as a son and a husband, and as a father of a young daughter, take the issue of sexual assault and harassment very, very seriously. And to make accusations like this, Speaker, is beneath any member of this House. Speaker, what I also take very seriously is the very
Finish, please.
Speaker, what I also take very seriously as Attorney General is the fundamental tenet of our democracy, and that is the independence of judiciary. We all know, Speaker, that in our system of democracy, we do not get to tell the judiciary as to what they should or not do. That is totally within their scope. I look forward to reviewing the member from Davenport's bill, which I have not, to see exactly what the scope of that bill is. Thank you.